I didn't go looking for the truth. It walked up to me and smiled. Not a scream, not a confession, just one sentence that lands wrong and refuses to let go. The travel agent smiled politely as she slid the tickets across the counter, then added, almost casually, "Your wife said this was very important. She wanted to make sure you'd be out of town that week." I smiled back out of instinct, thanked her, and walked out holding the envelope like it weighed more than paper ever should. It didn't feel like plane tickets. It felt like proof I hadn't asked for yet. That night, my wife Lauren poured me a glass of wine, kissed my cheek, and told me how much I deserved this trip. "You've been carrying so much stress," she said softly. "Go clear your head. Disconnect. Come back better." Her smile never cracked. Her eyes did. Something inside me tightened, not into panic or jealousy, but into recognition. A quiet awareness that this moment didn't stand alone. It connected too neatly to everything that had come before it. The late meetings that never added up, her phone always locked, always face down, the perfume she suddenly wore even for grocery runs. I told her I'd go. I told her I was excited. I told her I loved her. And, when she fell asleep, I canceled the flight. After the third work emergency in 2 weeks, I had stopped trusting coincidences. That was why the cameras were already there, quietly watching long before I admitted the truth to myself. The next morning, I still packed my suitcase. I drove to the airport, parked in long term like I was supposed to, walked inside, then turned around and took a cab straight back home. I needed the world to believe I was gone, especially her. By noon, I was monitoring the house from the security feeds I'd installed weeks earlier. I needed clarity, not confrontation. At exactly 2:17 p.m., Lauren walked in wearing her robe, phone pressed to her ear, her voice dropping into a tone I hadn't heard directed at me in years. It was softer, warmer, and far more careful. I couldn't hear every word she said, but I heard the one that mattered. Finally, after the call, she didn't relax. She started cleaning slowly, deliberately moving through the house like she was preparing it for someone important. At 4 o'clock, she changed into the black dress I bought her for our 10th anniversary. The one she once joked made her feel like she was pretending to be someone better than me. When the doorbell rang, she opened it without hesitation. He walked in like he belonged there. It was Mark, a man I had trusted. A man who had eaten at my table, laughed at my jokes, and looked me in the eye without flinching. I stayed perfectly still, barely breathing, every creak of the floor below cutting deeper than anger ever could. They drank the same wine she poured for me the night before. They laughed easily, like this wasn't new, like this was routine. And when she leaned into him, something inside me didn't explode or collapse. It went quiet. I stayed there for hours. Not to feed rage, but to build clarity. The cameras caught everything I needed them to. When Mark finally left, Lauren sat alone at the table, smiling down at her phone as she typed a message. "Hope you're having fun in Europe." I read it from the attic while the Wi-Fi still reached. I didn't reply. For 3 days, I stayed invisible. I wasn't living in the attic the whole time. I moved like a ghost, sleeping in my car between checks, coming back only to pull footage and watch patterns. And because she thought I was overseas, she stopped being careful. By the 4th night, I had everything: videos, messages, photos, documents. This wasn't just an affair. She was selling the house, forging my signature, moving money, liquidating our life. Mark wasn't her future. He was her accomplice. When I walked into our bedroom that night, she froze. Her wine glass slipped from her hand and soaked into the carpet. "I thought your flight." I missed it. I set my phone on the table and pressed play. Her own voice filled the room, and I watched fear flicker across her face, followed by calculation, then something that almost looked like regret. I handed her a manila envelope. Copies, signed, dated, notarized. My attorney had everything prepared. The originals are already with my lawyer and Mark's wife. She whispered my name like it still meant something. I never wanted to hurt you. You already did. She reached for me, and I stepped back. There was no anger left in me, only closure. I had already changed the locks, called the bank, and protected what was still mine. By morning, every transaction would face legal review. Nothing could be moved quietly anymore. She planned to erase me and cash out my life. Instead, she lost everything she tried to steal. Some people build love on lies. I built my peace on what was left after the truth.